You're gonna have to go some to sell me on the idea that the main character, a small boy no less, should die in a car crash in the prologue to a game. But that's what happens here. It's rated E for everyone, though, so let's not get too down in the dumps. The young Tobio is brought back to life by the Doctor in the form of the robot Astro Boy, a super robot-smashing little tyke with some outrageous combat skillage. You'll take him along a whirlwind adventure with a constantly evolving narrative through futuristic urban sprawls, volcanic islands, frozen tundras, and even the moon. Along the way, you'll meet a huge cast of characters of all dispositions, none of whom are simply redundant NPCs, but at the very least make you a little stronger by simply meeting them. Despite looking like every bit the side-scrolling platformer, that's not really the focus here. Well, there's a bit of that, sure, but Astro Boy much more closely resembles your classic 2D beat-em-ups, with a mechanical twist to it. The majority of the game's mechanics are geared around an impeccable combat system, with heavy punches and kicks complemented by an array of weapons like machine guns and laser beams. Movement is slick and versatile as well, with a double tap of the D-pad starting a run, and a jump, being followed by a second plus a direction, can launch Tobio off in that direction under rocket power, making him temporarily invulnerable. Punching and kicking enemies will contribute to filling your EX meter, which when full allows you to perform a special attack using the shoulder buttons. Pressing R fires this concentrated arm cannon laser in the direction you're facing, L fires a machine gun spread around the whole screen. Everything feels immediately familiar and comfortable. You might need a little finesse to get the dashing thing down, but after a minute or two it's perfectly easy to pull off. Dr. O'Shea will even walk you through the whole control scheme in a quick tutorial at the start if you're not sure. Even if you are, it's worth going through this rather than skipping it because it allows you to learn the Doctor's nature and earn his Omega factor. Each time you meet a new character, of which there are nearly 50, not only will you get at the very least some dialogue, but you can collect this Omega factor from them. The narrative here is that meeting and helping these people helps Astro Boy learn more of what it means to be human. It also acts as your leveling up system in a way, as each one will give a stat point that you can allocate to your HP, punching strength, laser or machine gun powers, jet boosters, or sensors. Lots of these are self-explanatory, so I won't go into them, but don't sleep on the sensor option. As you might not feel it'd be immediately useful to boost this, you might ignore it in favor of more life or stronger attacks, but I'd encourage you to fill it as soon as. There are only 4 pips to fill anyway. This will make some levels easier by allowing you to see in the dark, fog, and so on, but also hear better. Not only that, but it'll also help you find some of the more hidden characters that you otherwise would possibly miss. The more characters you meet, the stronger you'll get overall. When you meet someone, their portrait gets entered onto this personality chart thing, allocating them a space towards good, evil, braveness, tenderness, and so on. You might see one with a question mark on. This means you'll need to learn more about them to get their mark. There are 7 worlds to smash through, each split into several levels and featuring some brilliant enemy designs. They're cartoonish, charming, and menacing all in one, and will provide you with combat practice on easy mode and a real challenge on hard mode. That's nothing compared to the bosses, however, which are astonishingly good fun. They're all super unique and will demand full use of all Astro Boy's skills to get through. Their attacks rarely feel unfair or anything like that, but the level of challenge is such that you'll need a couple of goes at least to get through some of them. Some of the most satisfying boss fights on the Game Boy Advance for definite. Should you get to the end of the 7 worlds, make sure to watch through the credits, despite it technically being the bad ending, to get a secret upgrade. Also, you can now go through the game again to unravel new plot twists, skills, and the true ending. Although it might be fair to say that even with a double loop through the levels, the game feels quite short, with some of the intermediary levels, like the shoot-'em-up stages, feeling a little tacked on and not quite fleshed out enough. Well, that's what the higher difficulties are for, I suppose, and with the combat being as compelling as it is, you'll still certainly get your money's worth out of the game. The worlds you'll traverse are so vibrant and animated, and when coupled with the tone-perfect music and hefty sound effects, it's not hard to get completely immersed into the atmosphere of the game. Voice clips are used sparingly, but effectively, adding personality to the characters without being overwhelming. It remains a special touch rather than a distraction, which, while the GBA is quite capable of doing voices, is to the game's benefit. Exploration is encouraged, but you don't get bogged down in it. You're, for the most part, left with a wicked arsenal of combat at your disposal to smash the living heck out of the robot onslaughts, and that's exactly what you want. All in all, Astro Boy Omega Factor is an absolute blast to play through. Compelling, action-driven storytelling with irresistible graphics and a memorable soundtrack does away with a lot of the fluff, remaining vital, urgent, and thoroughly addictive.